Hello everybody, my name is Courtney Ravers from Project Artemis, and today I'm going to be bringing you a list that I really like. I love this deck a lot. This is Dragapult Blaziken, or Chickenpult as I like to call it. This deck is definitely interesting. I feel like it's the most turbo of the Dragapult decks that we have right now. For those who don't know, Blaziken has the ability where you can take a basic energy from the discard pile and put into any Pokemon you want. That is our Crispin. Crispin is a huge usage for the slower pults. A lot of times you see a 3-count Crispin, but why do we need Crispin when we have a Pokemon that does it for us? And is a little attacking Crispin, I guess. But to go over our deck list, we do have a 4-4-2, 2-1-2 spread of our major attackers. We substitute our very low usage of Combusken with 3 Rare Candy. Rare Candy is like your most important card in this list, especially if you're able to get like a turn 2 Blaziken or a turn 2 Dragapult. Force your opponent to do something, otherwise they're gonna lose. I do want to keep the Shaymin and the Clefairy in this list. I know that some people have been cutting either or for more turbo builds, or focusing more on the early game Clefairy. I would probably say keeping Shaymin for right now. There are still bench snipers out there, so especially if you're being a bit slower on the build, I would definitely say keep the Shaymin in. We are down to just 1 Budew. I know let's play 2, but I think that having the 1 is perfectly fine, especially because we're substituting the slowness of double Budew with the speed of 3 Rare Candies. So I would honestly say keep this how it is. We do want to just keep our Petrel in the list as well. Dawn's really good. It doesn't come up too often, but I would say Dawn is a card that you should keep in the list. We do have a 4-3 spread of Buddy-Buddy Poffin and Poké Pad. I think this is perfectly fine for the spread that we have, as much as sometimes we do have a little bit of an issue finding Pokemon, as it took forever for me to get this footage for you. I think that having this spread is really good for the 2-4-2-1-1-1-1-1. So, while if we can't find our little baby basics, we still have something that we don't get donked with on the bench. But yeah, we also have a Risky Ruins in Area 0 instead of 2 Risky Ruins. I think this is very good because as sometimes we do have a pretty not so well start with like a Shaymin or a Meowth in the front. Our Area 0 will be our first stadium to use as a bump, so that we can go wide and then close it down with Risky Ruins so that we don't have these liabilities on the board. Now, the 3-3-2 spread is pretty consistent with the majority of Dragapult lists right now, so there's nothing really to talk about with that. But yeah, I really like this deck a lot, and I'm going to show you how good it is. Enjoy the video.
Hey y'all, Eliza here from Project Artemis, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to this video sponsor, Heavy Play. They're able to hook the team up with some super cool products like the Heavy Play RFG Deck Box Carrier. Able to fit multiple Heavy Play products, such as 5 of the RFG deck boxes as well as a dice tray, or 4 of the 133 double sleeve deck boxes. On top of that, because of the Equip Mag system, you're able to latch on a playmat too, or if you have more deck boxes that you need to carry, you can always attach those so you can go a little bit wide. I super appreciate everything that they do for the team and the different products they hook us up with, so shout out to Heavy Play. Now, back to the video.
Alright, so we're going to be going ahead and showing you exactly how this deck works. There is a game in here as well that I would love to talk about the explosiveness of this deck, but majority of the time we do want to go second in this. Going blind second is how this usually goes. We do have a rough start against Solrock, so if they do just have a Lunatone down, we're kind of going to be needing to sacrifice a few things, but luckily they didn't start out with a Solrock, so we're just going to get that judge. We did get a pretty decent hand, so that we're actually able to set up the board fully. Going to go ahead and get that Itchy Pollen done. What's really funny is that I do believe that we do just give them a Lunatone, so we're kind of just disappointed on that, but that's perfectly fine. We do have a pretty strong hand, having at least a Drakloak. I'm going to go ahead and try to see if we can keep these cards in our hand. We're just going to be slowly getting our hand to something, but now we just have to discard our cards. We just have to do a Lillie at this point. This hand's kind of dead, so that we'll be able to actually, you know, play the game. We were really close to a Dragapult, but luckily here, we do have ourselves Blaziken. That's how incredibly powerful this deck is. I do admit I kind of misplayed here. What I needed to do here was I just needed to put down an energy on one of my bench Pokemon and then just pass. I didn't really expect a Premium Power Pro. I was kind of playing it a bit too hard in my head, but I got punished for it, and that's how that usually goes, but that's perfectly fine. We still have 2 Drakloaks on the bench, and we also have enough energy right now to start swinging, so we're perfectly fine. Them only having 1 Riolu is really strong for us. I don't know why they benched the other Solrock. I bet it's just to make sure that Lunatone is still getting draw, but I feel like the benefit of having 2 Riolu down is just so much better. So we're at a point right now in our hand where we are able to get a Dragapult done in out. I believe I didn't really check on that, but now we get to set up the board. We just put all the damage on the Solrock. They're most likely going to bring that up so that they can't be bossed later, but with this hand, we're just kind of chilling. I feel like I probably should have just grabbed another Dreepy from the discard pile with Night Stretcher, but this is how we have to do it. Having the 1 Riolu down is like our target now. We just have to find any way to get this guy done and over with. I do think this is a really interesting play. Swinging against the Drakloak again, if not, just knocking out the Torchic and saving the Premium Power Pro for a big turn with Lucario. I don't know why they did this. And I'm like debating if I want to get a Munkidori or not, but we're just gonna maximize our draw, see if we do get the Risky Ruins and the Munkidori. We didn't, but we can at least Unfair Stamp them, disrupt their hand. We would have really liked seeing that there, but we're just going to be prepping the Blaziken just in case we need to start swinging. We're going to spread the damage around so that if we do have the ability to boss up like the Meowth, we'll be able to just do a Munkidori attach and swing for Solrock for possibly 3 prizes. But as you can see, this hand is kind of useless in that play outside of Lillie's Determination, which obviously is, funny enough, currently our only draw in the format, which I think is pretty bad. Hopefully the next few formats we're actually going to get something. But we are... This is, by the way, this is in 2 times speed, so this is them just thinking about it. But yeah, like, now we're just kind of expecting to get hit and not get knocked, so now we can just prep damage around. I do think that in scenarios like this, of where they have a small hand, it would be better to target the Solrock and Lunatone rather than taking out two attackers, which I do believe is what I'm going to be doing here. Mostly just because I have the boss already in hand. I'm just debating it right now. I do want to keep the Clefairy in hand so that next turn I am able to go ahead and swing for the weakness. But obviously I should have evolved the Combusken. I feel like just depending on how much energy is actually in the discard pile, just so we don't get stalled. So I guess that's my thought process behind it. I think that's a fine process. Right now they're kind of in a pickle where my hand has to be disrupted for them to win the game, but obviously they can't, so they're just needing to be retreating and swinging with Hariyama. So they had to use that 1 Premium Power Pro, which would have been a lot easier for them if they didn't use it last, but just showing them the boss, hitting the Seething Spirits, and then just taking out that 3 prizes for game. I thought that was a pretty smooth run for my deck against Lucario. They kind of struggled a little bit, but for our next game, this is our game I do believe that I almost donked, so I want to talk to you about why I prefer 3 candy. A lot of people and a lot of decks have been playing 2 rare candy with a bunch of other bulk. I think that the triple rare candy is really good here, so that you'll have turns where you can surprise your opponent with a turn 2 Dragapult. This hand is pretty good. With the top deck I'm going to get is even crazier, so that I'm actually able to get that Dragapult in. I do believe in this game I was on call with somebody, so I was multitasking, which is really funny that I'm talking to them while also getting a pretty strong donk turn, or at least a donk game. But we just need to have a way to get our deck to be as turbo as possible without breaking any of the fundamentals of the deck, such as like the bench support and overall just drawability, so that we're kind of just in this spot right now. We kind of know that if we're going to get Budewed here, is going to be not fun, but we're just going to take that risk. Especially because we have Lose Determination, so we're perfectly fine, but this hand just got incredibly good. The top deck Buddy-Buddy was insane, so now I have a fully set up board, turn 2, and a fresh 8 cards. I feel like at this point they should have just scooped, because now they just can't get anywhere. And on top of that, I do just get more bench Pokemon. Yeah, and just swinging for 6. At this point, they're kind of just squirming around, struggling to get something going, which, you know, makes sense. They only have 1 Dreepy. I will say, though, they had a crazy hand, because, you know, they just evolved and they Ultra Ball. I don't know why they didn't Ultra Ball for Meowth. I feel like it was prized. But then they should have just Ultra Balled for Fez, which might have also been prized. So, I don't know why they did that. They were just kind of squirming around, being a little fish, not knowing what they're doing. Now I'm just going to set up board just to show them, like, hey, I'm really far ahead of you. You can't do squats. Just scoop up and go next. But you know what? They were troopers. They hanged around for a while. I'm just more or less just trying to see if I can find a way to knock out the bench Dreepy without anything crazy. But I did get a Risky Ruins. That was like the perfect card to get because I do have the dark. So I would just put down Munkidori 20 onto a Dreepy, and then just take out a Pokemon. And then the following turn, I just win by bossing up something, and then just going crazy. But yeah, they stood around for a while. I had to be sure that this next Dreepy was gonna die. I do get another Munkidori, but yeah, they're kind of just doing nothing. But that's like the difference between us being probably the fastest Dragapult build versus like others that are not. I don't know why they did Buddy-Buddy, because now I just kind of diving and just win and they scoop before I do so. This next game was really good. I was really struggling to find a second game to show you about our strength into a lot of decks, but this time we had a really good start, but kind of risky depending on the deck that we were going to go against. So, especially for having Meowth turn 2 for Lillies is a huge risk, especially no Area 0. If this hand had an Area 0, it would feel a lot better, because we would be able to at least possibly get to 6 cards, 6 Pokemon on the bench, and then just throwing them away. But if I remember correctly, I do just have an insanely strong turn, either this turn or the next. But we are just going to be trying to set up a Drakloak. I was depending between Blaziken or Drakloak, but because this hand is pretty strong, I do just want to set up as much Drakloaks as possible. So I would go Ultra Ball, the Torchic, and whatever comes up for like a Blaziken, Candy Blaziken, Evolved Drakloak, and then Meowth for Lilies. But the scary thing about doing that is Marnie's Grimmsnarl hits for 180, and we're 170. For people who don't remember the good old days of Lumineon and Tapu Lele, I think it was Lele. I didn't really play in that format, but yeah, the fighting a supporter. Us top decking the Lillie was really good. So now we don't have to risk the Meowth. We can save the Meowth for later. So now we're just fully benching our Drakloaks. We do have the ability to save our Pokemon for with a Ultra Ball for Shaymin, because we do want to get Shaymin down. I was kind of silly. I didn't swap the Risky Ruins. I could have probably just won the game here if that wasn't the case, but we live and learn at this point. Yeah, so they would have just had to get the Grimmsnarl. I could have, yeah, like I said, I could have probably gotten that, especially because they would have had to Petrel, most likely, because Petrel is like their biggest card count. And they're prepping the secret box. Completely smart. I think the big issue with what happened in this matchup is they just weren't able to find the Frostlass in time. They struggled a lot in the early game to establish them, so it was a big issue for that. I do think I misplay as well in this game of where I should have put a attacker over something else. Like, the matchup for us is that we do just want to set up a Munkidori faster than them. Obviously, we were kind of a bit behind because of that. This was the misplay I feel like was it. I feel like we should have kept the Ultra Ball so that we could have the Munkidori not be a liability now, because now there's a chance of them putting down the Frostlasses and starting to put damage on the Munkidori. So I think that was probably my biggest misplay. Obviously, we weren't punished at all for this. Thank heavens. I feel like they also just wasn't targeting the Munkidori enough. Especially because, like, in a state like this, if they were able to get double Frostlass, put 40 on it, and then 70 and 80, 90, which forces me to choose between Shaymin or Munkidori, which both of them will probably get double Munkidori next turn. So, right now I believe that they're just thinking about what to get. Bump in the stadium makes perfect sense. So at this point, going wide is going to be really, really risky. Especially because I'm missing a Munkidori. I think this is a... okay. Sorry for the yawn. But now they have the double Frostlass, so... if they were able to set up double Frostlass last turn, I probably would have lost. But... now I'm at a point where I am needing to get this Munkidori energy down ASAP. I also just don't like the glitch right now in TCGL, where, like, as you can see from the Shaymin, I can't read the damage. I have to click on it to see it. Top deck and the energy was really cool. I wish I got it last turn. But this hand's chilling. As you can tell, I was like, oh, so second monkey, I couldn't go Area 0. But we're fine. I was debating between what of the three options I had to Munkidori was. It was between the double Drakloaks and the Shaymin. I chose the least damaged Shaymin. No, not Shaymin. Drakloak. So that next turn, when this Dragapult gets knocked out, I'll still have something to attack with. And yeah, I think that making sure that, you know, I have that Drakloak ready is really, really important. Them whiffing the energy is really good for next turn if they do so. Right now, it's kind of like they can only knock out one or the other Drakloak at this point. So they just have to target one of them. But because of the board state that I'm currently in, getting them to that Rare Candy was rough. But obviously because I did damage the Snow Runs earlier in the game, putting 5 there, so putting 4-2 onto the Munkidori, and then them being knocked out with damage over time was my goal. They put down the Budew, and then I just kind of won no matter what they did. So, like I said, they whipped the energy here, and we do just clean this up with Dragapult. I do kind of just make sure that I do have it, so I kind of just play it out normally. But, yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you like our videos, definitely give us a like and subscribe. Check out our Metafy page as well. We have some amazing content going out there as well. Yeah, as I take out this Grimmsnarl. I was kind of just flexing on him at that point. But, yeah, thank you all so much for watching the video, and I hope you all have a